morning. And today we're going to be looking at the altitude of a triangle. Okay, an altitude of a triangle is a line coming from a corner. Now this is different from the perpendicular bisector, which came from a line. This one comes from a vertex, which is the corner of a triangle. And it's also perpendicular to the opposite side. So here's an example of an altitude. So this is an altitude that comes from this corner up here, this vertex up here, and it meets the opposite side at right angles. The perpendicular bisector was a mixture of a right angle and also a midpoint. This is just one of them. This is just right angle. Okay. More for information than anything else, the three altitudes of a triangle are concurrent. So if you have an altitude coming from this corner here and this corner here, they would all meet in one point, and we would call that the orthocenter of a triangle. And that's more for information. I have seen those words coming up in past papers, but quite a few years ago, so you may not need to know that, but be aware of it for information. Okay, A is the point, 2, 3, B is negative 2, 4, and C is 5, negative 3. Find the equation of the altitude from B. Now, biggest piece of advice I can give you is always draw a sketch. It doesn't have to be on a coordinate axis. Just draw a random triangle, mark in A, B and C and draw a line that looks as though it's an altitude from the coordinate B. It helps you to visualise it. The more you can visualise, the less of a chance of you making mistakes. So here we have a triangle ABC and a line drawn from the coordinate B because it's the altitude from B. So you need to know that an altitude meets the opposite side at right angles. You need to be able to sketch that. Now, if you look at this now, we're going to find the equation of this line here. What do we need? We need the gradient of the line and we need a coordinate on the line. This one's different from the perpendicular bisector in that we already have a coordinate. B is on that line. So we're fine for the coordinate. The gradient we don't have. But can you see how you will find the gradient of that perpendicular line there? You will have to use the gradient of AC. If you find the gradient of AC, you can therefore find the perpendicular gradient, which is the one we need. So we'll use coordinate B and the perpendicular gradient that we'll get from AC. So we're going to find the gradient AC. Again, visualise by drawing a diagram. Okay, then find the gradient that's perpendicular to AC, then find the equation of the perpendicular line. Okay, so we've got our coordinates here. Let's find the gradient. So we've got -3 and 5 -2. So -6 over 3 is an overall -2. Now we're going to have to find the gradient of the perpendicular line. Now remember, that's a whole number, 2, -2. But if you want to think of -2 as a fraction, it's just simply -2 over 1. There's an invisible denominator there, which is 1. So if you've got 2 over 1, and you want to turn that upside down, it's going to become 1 over 2, and the negative will become a positive. So it will become positive 1 over 2. Okay, so that's our perpendicular gradient. We already have the coordinate that we're going to use, which is B. So that's why we have to use B. So the sketch is very, very important, because if you randomly use one of the other coordinates, then you'll lose your marks for the rest of the question. You've got to use the coordinate that's on the line you're trying to find. Okay, so we put them into the y minus b equals m bracket x minus a formula. So that's your A, that's your B, that's your gradient. So y minus your B equals m bracket x minus your A. What's your double negative in your A? So let's tidy up the double negative. Then take the 2 over to the left hand side and make it a multiply. Remember to multiply everything by the 2. So we've now just got a 1 outside the bracket. So 1 times that bracket is just the bracket, it's just an x plus 2. So we can tidy that up a little bit without having to write that there. Okay, now you may have noticed you were about to write that and stop yourself and go straight to that little line there. Right, let's take the negative 8 over to the right hand side, or if we wanted, we could have taken the 2 over to join the negative 8. Negative 8 on the right hand side becomes a plus 8, so that's where your plus 10 comes from. And again, watch out for different versions of different rearrangements of this straight line. Okay, that would be an alternative rearrangement. That would simply be the negative 2 brought over and x minus 2 plus 10 all on the same side. That would be everything brought over to the left hand side to join it. 2y minus x minus 10. So make sure you recognise if you've got that and your answer looks like that or whatever, that you know it's the same thing. And if you're not sure, again, get your teachers to double check. Send a photo in of your question that you're not sure and ask your teacher just to confirm if it's correct or not. Or get your teacher to look at it when you next see your teacher. Okay. Right, so we're now on to exercise 1K. And here we have our selection of questions. And remember, ask your teacher for help. Let your teacher know once you're finished. And good luck and take care.